Welcome to the Small Business Miracles Podcast. I'm Jeff Randolph. This small business podcast is brought to you by EAG Advertising and Marketing. We're here to talk about marketing, and we're also here to celebrate entrepreneurs by diving into their story. And we learn a little more about what makes them tick. Today, we're staging our home for a sale, or we're considering a franchise opportunity in home staging. Either way, we're excited to talk about Alisa Sparks today. She's the founder and CEO of Linden Creek. Linden Creek is here for your interior design needs and home staging. Growth story is a good one. So, if you're ready, let's bring Alisa Sparks into the conversation.
Talk about strategies and all the capabilities, building all your hopes, dreams, and all the possibilities. It ain't rocket surgery, but maybe it is. Come on down, we're gonna sit around, we're gonna get into your business, get into your business, get into your business.
Hey, welcome back to the show. I am here with Alisa Sparks. She's the founder and CEO of Linden Creek. Alisa, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeff. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, first, let's give everybody a level set and tell everybody about what Linden Creek is. What is a Linden Creek? What's going on here? What do you do? Tell everybody so that we're all on the same page.
Absolutely. So Linden Creek is a franchise that specializes in home staging and interior design. So started, that cliche entrepreneurial story started out of my garage, built it into something beautiful, and now we're really growing and expanding nationally. And in order to support those efforts, have built out an e-commerce storefront so you can get access to our furniture, art, and decor at any time, as well as a tech software platform to kind of help our franchisees be successful in their day-to-day.
There's so many things going on there. And if I could, let's get to the backstory, because we do like to hear about the entrepreneurial journey, and this interview shouldn't be any different, because you mentioned that you started out of your garage. Before that, you were doing some cool stuff. You were doing like multi-million-dollar military budgets, and managing that. And then you made a pivot. Tell us about that evolution.
Yeah, my background is finance. I love numbers. I can geek out for hours in Excel. So that really is my happy place. And so before starting Linden Creek, I spent nearly a decade managing multi-million-dollar budgets for the Navy and the Marine Corps. Wow. I loved that experience. And so clearly the logical decision was then to jump into interior design.
Obviously, there's a clear path, A to B.
Very clear path. No, the reality was I loved being creative. I loved creating beautiful spaces. And so in my evenings and weekends, when I was managing budgets, I was renovating houses, I was building furniture, I would do anything I could to sort of fulfill that creative itch behind the scenes. And then one day hit this moment of realizing maybe I wanted to build something of my own. I was terrified to make the jump. And so I figured, let me keep my really safe full-time job. I'd use my PTO on Fridays and go knock doors, hire a nanny for Friday, use my PTO, and get in front of as many real estate agents and builders as I could to really provide proof of concept. Can this work? Is there a market out here for staging services? Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe if I'm lucky, in like 12 months, I could quit my full-time job. And unbeknownst to me, in about 4 months, we were growing so quickly that I had to quit, was hiring my first team member, and we were off to the races.
Man, outstanding. And so it started from garage, and then you get, like, how quickly was it when you got to the point where you're like, scale this thing? I need to expand.
So what's really interesting is about a year into the business, I found myself as a single mom of 2 little girls that were 4 and 5 at the time. And so my focus was always just, I need to be in the carpool lane to pick them up from carpool at 2:30 every day. And I thought at the time, like, this is a real disadvantage to building a growing business, is having to be in carpool at 2:30. But what it forced me to do was actually to hire somebody to take my 2:30 to 5 p.m. client interactions on the regular. And so every time I started to get busy and I would worry that it would interfere with that time, I'd hire somebody, I'd train them, I'd teach them how to do it. And because of that, I scaled very quickly, not on purpose, really out of survival. And I found myself about 5 years into the business, looking back and realizing that I had done such a good job of hiring and training that I had actually accidentally worked myself out of a job, which was never the goal. Right. But my team had it. They were running the day-to-day. My clients were happy. My team was happy, and no one needed me. And so it was that moment of, what do I do with my free time now? I love working. I love building. I love growing. I love investing in people. And so as I was really sitting and reflecting and sort of having this like midlife crisis of like, oh shoot, I accidentally don't have anything to do. I was getting messages from other interior designers, messages from other home stagers asking me questions about how do we handle price objections? How do we store hundreds of, mattresses or art pieces in a warehouse in a way that they stay clean and they don't get damaged? And I realized we had really found processes and systems to each of these things. And so then it became this conversation of how do I take the playbooks, if you will, that we've created internally and share them with other people so that they can have create this career that I was able to enjoy and love. And that's really what brought on the idea of franchising.
Man, that is, and that says a lot about the hiring and training process, that you got that totally right from the beginning and had that unlocked, because, making the wrong hire can put that into a different, at the very least, timeline, right? Where you're not able to move forward. But I love that story. I love that story of growth and how, you're able to build this business around everything else that's important to you, which is amazing. That's outstanding. And some of the, so making life easier for people in that kind of franchise world, right? That was the whole concept around those strategies used to scale. Is that, what else can you tell me about some of those pieces? Cause you mentioned technology and areas that are not, if I may, spreadsheet related.
That's exactly right. Well, I think one of the things that helped me at Linden Creek when I first started it was the fact that everything I looked at with a spreadsheet. So yes, there's this creative element, but the math side of my brain created systems around design. So when we started to franchise, the big question is, can you even franchise a creative space? Like the concept around franchising is it's this like beautiful plug and play system. So how do you take a creative world and create and build frameworks around it? But we had found we were really already doing that. When you'd walk into a room, you measure the size of your rug that you're going to place in there. And if it's a 9 by 12, there are 3 different floor plans you can use. And so then you just pick the coffee table and the sofas. All of them are versatile and neutral. They play together and you can't really screw it up. And so the way that I had accidentally at the time really built the framework around Linden Creek was something that we were able to scale. But as we started scaling, we realized there were some other unique challenges. One of them being styling accessories. So picking out your pillows that are going to go on your sofa and the pieces and vases that are going to go on your coffee table. That's probably the hardest part of interior design, is understanding scale and size. And so we said we have to find a solution for this. And so that's really what birthed the Linden Creek shop. Is we now offer and sell completed sets. So rather than a franchisee needing to go, I need to know how this vase plays with this bowl and these beads that fall out of it, they actually just buy the entire coffee table set. They put it on a coffee table and it's done and it's a plug and play. And so a lot of what we've created has been to simplify and streamline the creative processes, to take the guesswork out and to allow our franchisees to be more efficient with their time and really focus on being business owners almost more than being designers.
And really, and everything there just sets people up for success. That takes the guesswork out of it. I think that's outstanding. Tell me about the growth here, though, because you posted recently on LinkedIn. I was on your LinkedIn page, and you talked about the evolution in the journey of a business founder, where you realize you're not building the business you imagined. You're building the business you're now equipped to lead. Could we talk about that for a moment? Because that struck me, because you have an idea of this goal state in your mind when you first start out, where you say, this is the business I want to build. But it's important that that future state be responsive to all of the current conditions, because those current conditions do change. I think it's good to be able to look at that current situation and evolve. Tell me what's going on behind that post and what you're thinking here.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. If you had asked me when I started Linden Creek 8 years ago what my goal was, I would have told you I wanted to do home staging and interior design. I thought maybe even I wanted to play with Airbnbs. We learned Airbnbs are a no-go. Okay. At least not for our world consistently. And that was really going to be it. But I think there's something so important about seeing and recognizing where there's a need and building your business around solving problems rather than, hey, I have this cool idea. And so for me, when I had this moment of panic of sitting on the couch going, I worked myself out of a job. What do I do? It wasn't, I have this great idea. It was me hearing problems from our community saying, we can't figure this out. And so we solved it. When we built our technology company, it wasn't an issue of, I have this cool tech platform idea. It was the issue of, I'm seeing every single day how many dollars it's costing me in labor and time because we're missing these efficiencies, because we aren't thinking in a strategic way. So let's solve that problem. And so I think as a business owner, you dive into your new business and you think this is who we are and this is what it's going to be. And we're taught to make goals and 10-year goals, and this is where you want to go. And that's good. But there's an evolution that happens. And our world is ever changing. What our environment is like today and the way that AI plays into things today is vastly different than what it was 10 years ago. And so there's no way for us to know what the true need is for our customer, for our community, until you're really living in it. And so I think for me, one of the best blessings was, let me dive in and do this, and then let me experience and feel the pain. Because if I'm feeling the pain, someone else is feeling that same pain. And then my job is to solve that problem. And that's what really allows you to evolve as a business owner, really truly understand and serve your customer the right way.
Serve your customer the right way. If we all, whether we're talking about working in a business or we're talking about founding one, if you start out with that premise of, here's a problem that people have and I'm going to solve it, you can't ask for more, right? Because that will always change. The customer needs will always change. Your ability to solve them will always change. And so that's a wonderful kind of thing to hang a business on and say, this is where we're going to go. So we're going to solve some problems. Tell me what's next for Linden Creek. Where do you go from here?
Yeah, so today Linden Creek has 20 locations across the East Coast, which is very exciting. We span as far west as Texas right now. Mm-hmm. Our goal really and truly is to bring Linden Creek across the country. So one thing that's fun about our model is we really only play nicely in luxury markets. We focus on that top tier sort of community. Mm-hmm. And so there are only so many markets within the United States that are going to make sense for Linden Creek. So we will always and forever sort of be a boutique franchise, if you will, that's going to be this really close-knit community. And so for us, these next few years, the goal and the objective is to continue to build and grow that community, and to help each of our franchise owners as they develop their locations and we become a national brand.
Outstanding. And I didn't say, like, where was the original garage where this all began? Where in the planet was that?
Yeah, it was based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And I will tell you, my UPS drivers knew me by name and my FedEx drivers knew me by name. I was always in the garage, just like assembling furniture. Lots of questions were asked about what on earth I was doing, but I don't take those humble beginnings for granted at all.
That's right. That's the garage lady. That's who that is.
That's the crazy garage lady that has a spending problem.
spending habit, spending problem, spending opportunity, either way.
That's right.
Hey, if it's okay with you, I'll take you into the lightning round. Are you ready for that? Lightning round. There are no rules in the lightning round. We're just going to dive in, find out more about you. You have no way to know what kind of things I might ask. And I'm going to start out with one about scent marketing. And I have no idea what you think about for this one, but scent marketing is one of those big growth areas, and we learn more about the way our brain can remember scents. Like 60% of we can remember a smell with 60% accuracy, like a year down the road. In your world, I think the old saying is something like, "Oh, it should smell like freshly baked cookies," or something like that. If you want to, sell your home, can you talk about how scent plays into your world and your platform?
Absolutely. So you're right. Scent is wildly popular and powerful. And so because of that, what we're taught and trained in the staging world specifically is to never have a scent. Because if you have a scent, let's say we threw a vanilla candle in the room. Mm-hmm. If you put it in front of 10 different people, those 10 people are going to have 10 different experiences with it. We don't all smell the same scent the same way, which is why some people gravitate towards some and others gravitate towards others. And so in order to avoid somebody feeling repulsed when they walk into a home, because they may not like the scent, they say avoid all scents. And that's going to give you the most versatile approach for selling homes. Now, if you live in your home, fully embrace whatever smell is your favorite.
Oh,
Your
sure.
kids will appreciate it for the long haul. But if you're going to stage your home and try to sell it, no sense at all.
That is great advice. What a good takeaway. I'm hoping to get here at what makes you tick personally, and I want to talk about kind of the big win. Like, how do you celebrate a great big win? And that could be personal, that could be family, whatever that is. How do you like stop and go, yep, let's celebrate?
Very candidly, I'm horrible at this. There was a conversation. One of my team members came to me yesterday and she said, Alisa, we accomplished so much in 2025. Have you just stopped to think about everything that we did? Because when you do, you realize all of the wins. And I thought, hasn't crossed my mind. Haven't really thought about it. I see everything we need to do in 2026 and we've got a lot of work ahead of us. So this is something that I am not great at, but I know that enough about myself and I recognize the importance that there is in my team that sometimes we'll intentionally carve out opportunities to just provide those wins so that everybody else hears it and sees it. But I think it's this little bit of a demon that most entrepreneurs have where they forget to stop and celebrate. They're just so busy tackling the next challenge or whatever it may be, that very candidly, this is not one of my strengths.
In the interviews we've done, it's been really interesting because it's kind of a 50-50, where half of the people go, I'm already on to the next thing. There's no time to celebrate. You just keep going. And the other half are like, I do have a way because I realize it's important. You seem to strike that great balance between, you're completely driven and you want to keep going, but you recognize the importance that celebration plays for the rest of the team. And what a great way to be. Good job with that.
Thank you.
So let's imagine we're watching TV. You're flipping through channels. Is there a movie that comes on and you're scrolling past that and you see that movie and you are definitely going to watch that movie every single time it's on, no matter what?
Oh gosh, I would say
that desert island movie that you just want to watch all the time.
Less movies. I am a total nerd at heart. Give me a documentary or a crime scene murder. I'm a sucker for one of those. So if somebody is getting murdered and I have to solve the problem over the 2-hour movie, I'm hooked and into that. But otherwise, there's not much more that catches my attention.
Good stuff. We talk about success and failure on this podcast quite a bit. We talk about the lessons learned. Let me start with success. Do you have a favorite kind of client success story that small business miracle, if you will?
My favorite client success story was actually the very first interior design project that I completed. Most people, when they get into the design industry, they're excited to play with beautiful spaces and make magic happen and find this beauty in what's around us. And that was really my focus. I loved it. I was excited to be part of it. Behind the scenes, interior design projects are a lot of work. The logistics that goes into sourcing, selecting, tracking packages, dealing with damaged goods, timeline sliding, etc. There's a lot that goes into it. And so there's some very real sweat equity by the time you deliver a finished product and have that HGTV moment that everybody gets to see. But my first HGTV moment was for this sweet mom of 2 twin boys that were little and a husband, and they were very, very busy. And she walked into the home, she saw the finished product, and she started to cry. But they were happy tears, thank goodness.
Happy tears.
But she looked at me and she said, you don't understand the impact this has on my life because we feel like we're living in chaos. And for the first time ever, I feel like I'm in my home and I feel peace. And that moment for me completely fundamentally changed my reason why I do what I do. We went from I love decorating and designing to I love impacting lives. And I think the moment that in your success story and journey, whatever it may be, that you realize the impact you have on others, it's a different kind of fuel that pushes you to do things so much better and so much greater.
I know this is a totally unscripted question, but man, that's if I could just take a pull quote from that and put that everywhere, that's the best lesson learned. Like you're redefining the kind of business you're in. You're in a different kind of business where you're making people's lives better, happier. Like that's a wonderful place to be.
It's a beautiful place to be. It doesn't get old ever.
It shouldn't, and don't ever let it. So we've talked about success. I then like to talk about failure. There's a Disney movie called Meet the Robinsons that reinforces that kind of thing all the time. That from success we may not learn a lot, but from failure we learn quite a bit. On the failure side, have you had one of those kind of lessons learned as a business owner that you've taken away from something that didn't go quite right?
So many, and you're absolutely right. It's those lessons that are really painful truths that teach you to never do them again. I would say biggest lessons learned are around hiring. I was fortunate early on. I had a really fantastic team, and I have a really great team still today. But one thing that I've learned the tough way is finding the right team takes time and it takes patience. You can take all the hiring strategies and approaches that you want to, but finding somebody that has the drive that's consistent with your culture, the work ethic that's consistent with your culture, and has the skills and ability to really bring your company to the next level is not an easy find. Oftentimes you look at dating apps and people are swiping and they're going on multiple dates because the reality is you don't find your perfect person on the first one that you say yes to. So we've really found that hiring is one of those as well. So I like to take an approach of, if you're going to come and join our company in that first 90 days, let's just use this as a trial period. Do you like us? Do we like you? Do we feel like this is the right fit? Maybe you're an incredible person, but the fit just isn't right. But proactively giving each other that grace period for that 90 days, so that 90 days in, you can really secure and deepen those roots and do something incredible together.
Yeah, there's only so much you can find out from the interview process. Once you start walking in the shoes a little bit, you really kind of figure out, is this for me or is it not for me? That is a great lesson learned, and one that is so important in today's business, is just getting the right hires and getting the right fit culturally. Because if you hire the wrong people, they get rid of the good people, and
yes.
That's something you really can't afford. So get the hiring right. Find a good, friendly HR person and have them help you out with that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take you out of the lightning round. That was there's zero sweat here on the lightning round. You've just crushed the lightning round.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Tell people where they can find you if they want more information, if they want to go experience all of the entire program that you've set up on the franchise side, or if they just want more information about anything that you do. Tell them where they can find you.
Absolutely. You can find me at LinkedIn at Alisa Sparks. I am on there on the regular, so check it out. Start a conversation with me. Would love to connect. Otherwise, all the things we're doing at Linden Creek, you can find on our website at linden-creek.com.
All right. Alisa Sparks, founder and CEO of Linden Creek. Thanks for being with us on the show today.
So much for having me, Jeff.
And that is our show. Thanks so much to our friend Alisa Sparks for joining us today. And thank you for listening to the Small Business Miracles podcast. Remember to subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Drop us a line on the website at eagadv.com if you have any thoughts. Until then, we'll be out here helping an entrepreneur with another small business miracle.
Talk about strategies and all the capabilities, building all your hopes, dreams, and all the possibilities. It ain't rocket surgery, but maybe it is. Come on down, we're gonna sit around, we're gonna get into your business.